This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good day. I'm Elena Rusk. We begin with breaking news as firefighters in Detroit are digging through the rubble of a burned and collapsed building trying to save one of their own. Our affiliate WDIV says the building was vacant when it caught fire and then collapsed today. The Detroit fire chief telling that crew there that 5 firefighters walked out of the building after it collapsed, and even though they didn't want to stop to receive treatment, EMS officials were seen checking them and giving them water and oxygen. 2 firefighters were initially trapped. 1 has since been rescued. The firefighter who remains trapped has debris on top of him, according to officials there. Now, they know where he is, they can see him, and they've been talking to him, according to authorities there. The next step is to carefully remove all of the debris and then load that firefighter onto a stretcher. All right, well, our other big headline for the day, the second quarter GDP report is out, and it shows another decline. The gross domestic product, which measures the economy along with the production of goods and services, fell 0.9% from April to June. That's according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis. The newly released numbers follow a 1.6% decline in the first quarter, and this is the second straight negative GDP report, which could signal that a U.S. recession is looming. But a strong labor market could prevent an official declaration of a recession. According to the latest jobs report, fewer Americans applied for jobless benefits last week, declining by 5,000 to 256,000 across the country. Analysts say it could be months before the National Bureau of Economic Research makes a judgment on whether the U.S. is in a recession. But Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy took to the House floor this morning, saying these numbers do reflect a recession.
The government announced what every American has been feeling for nearly a year. We are in a recession. This news is a grim milestone that points towards more hardship, more suffering, and more pain for the American people. Every week, the American people know we are able to buy less with the money we have. Every week at the gas pump, we're paying nearly twice as much to fill up our tanks. Every month, the American people know when they get their pay stubs, they're making less in real wages. And every day, the American people understand the simple truth. We cannot afford Democrats' failed policies, but we are certainly paying for them.
So, official recession or not, what does 2 quarters of decline mean for us here in Kern County? Dave Anderson with the MoneyWise guys stopped by Sunrise this morning to talk more about today's report and how the changing economy will affect our daily lives here in the coming months.
So we still are in that position. You know, we're still feeling that high inflation, and it is affecting all of us financially. What should we do right now, especially in light of this latest GDP report? What should I do with my personal finances to prepare for what could come?
You know, obviously save what you can, but a lot of people are saying, you know, my money is being stretched thin. So then I would say look at your purchases. And some purchases that maybe you made a year ago, you might want to look at different brands, different types of products. You still need to eat, but start looking at different ways to save money.
All right, let's turn now to our wildfires. And the battle near Yosemite continues this morning as fire crews are trying to extinguish the Oak Fire. So far, flames have torched more than 19,000 acres, with containment at least now reported as 39% as of this morning's update. Now, the flames are just miles outside of Yosemite National Park there in Mariposa County. 100 total structures have now been destroyed by this fire. Hundreds of residents from nearby mountain communities are still under evacuation as well. And the coroner has identified the toddler killed in a suspected DUI crash in Shafter. That crash reported just after 4:30 Saturday afternoon at Burbank Street near Shafter Avenue. Investigators say 22-year-old Irving Rodriguez Barraza was driving eastbound on Burbank Street when he failed to stop at a stop sign and crashed into a Jeep. One of that Jeep's passengers, identified as 1-year-old Aislinn Tejeda, was taken to Kern Medical where she died. The CHP says Rodriguez Barraza is under investigation for causing the crash and for driving under the influence. Plus, deputies are asking for help finding a missing teen, last seen in the Rosedale area. The Kern County Sheriff's Office says 13-year-old Jaden Michelle Barr was last seen near Meacham and Allen Roads, wearing a black hat, dark gray shirt, dark blue shorts, and black shoes, carrying a black backpack and a blue water bottle. She has a scar on her right eyebrow. If you've seen her or know where she is, you're asked to call deputies. That number, 861-3110.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
And now to one of our signature issues here at 17 News, pedestrian safety. Kern County Public Works celebrated the completion of the Virginia Street Pedestrian Path project with a ribbon-cutting ceremony at Heritage Park yesterday. The project includes roughly 1.5 miles of sidewalks and bike lanes along the Virginia Street corridor between Williams Elementary School and Heritage Park.
Ultimately, we improved 2 miles of sidewalks to make sure that students could walk from Williams Elementary School to this park and also benefit East Bakersfield High School students, because this is their area. I mean, what are kids doing? They're going to school, they're going to the park, and that's where our focus has been, on these areas where families gather and where we had safety gaps.
Now, to complete the $2.5 million project, Kern County Public Works got a $2.7 million grant from Caltrans Active Transportation Program and nearly $450,000 from Kern County Public Works. All right, now to education news. If you would like to help some local kids who may be struggling to afford some back-to-school supplies, the Boys and Girls Club Back to School Drive is accepting donations. Suggested school supplies they need include backpacks, notebooks and paper, pencils and pens, other office and school supplies. Gift cards to office supply stores or retail stores are also welcomed and can be used to purchase anything else that's needed. Drop off your donations at the Armstrong Youth Center in East Bakersfield, the Stockdale Club in Southwest Bakersfield, the Lamont Club near Lamont Elementary, or just donate your money online at bgclubsofkerncounty.org/school supplies. And the Kern County Superintendent of Schools in all of Kern County's 46 public school districts will now serve all students lunch and breakfast at no charge during the school day for the 2022-23 school year. The announcement comes on the heels of California's recently adopted Universal Meal Program. Now, free and reduced price meal applications to determine eligibility may still be sent to households, but the eligibility determination from these applications or alternative income forms will not impact a student's availability to receive breakfast and lunch at no charge at their school. Well, in business news, JetBlue has agreed to buy Spirit Airlines in a $3.8 billion deal a day after Spirit and Frontier agreed to abandon their merger proposal. JetBlue will acquire Spirit for $33.50 per share in cash, including a prepayment of $2.50 a share in cash payable once Spirit stockholders approve the transaction. There's also a ticking fee of 10 cents per month starting in January 2023 through closing. Now, at the same time, Southwest Airlines is reporting higher profit and record revenue, but its shares are down because of concern over rising costs. Southwest said today that second quarter profit more than doubled to $760 million. Revenue jumped by about 2/3 as passengers packed planes to take summer vacations. Southwest says strong demand for tickets is continuing, but so are inflation trends. So the airline warns rising costs and lower productivity are likely to continue in the second half of the year. All right, now to coronavirus cases that are continuing to rise. According to the latest NBC News tally, the United States has surpassed 91 million cases since tracking began. The 7-day case average jumped to well over 134,000 daily infections. The weekly death rate has risen to 450 fatalities per day. That's about 100 more daily deaths than the country was recording at this time last year. Cases have risen more than 16%, deaths increasing more than 18% over the past 2 weeks. Well, in other health headlines, a new study finds that a rapid loss of smell could predict dementia. Researchers at the University of Chicago conducted a study of more than 500 older adults, finding that a rapid decline in an individual's sense of smell during a period of normal cognition predicted multiple features of Alzheimer's disease, including smaller gray matter volume in the areas of the brain related to smell and memory. The scientists believe that their findings could lead to smell test screenings to detect cognitive impairment earlier in patients. Fascinating. However, doing basic household chores could be cutting off your risk of developing Alzheimer's. Okay, so this is what they're saying in a new study out of China. Researchers at Sichuan University examined more than 500,000 older adults and were shocked by these results. They say those who are most engaged in physical and mental activities like washing the dishes, cooking, gardening, they showed a 21% less chance of developing the disease. Meantime, those who engaged in regular exercise like brisk walks or bike rides were 35% less likely to have Alzheimer's.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.